Welcome back to the Week 3 matchups and the Commission Anderson Show. And this next matchup, Beans versus Nappy-Headed Foe, both 2-0 teams. Should be a pretty good game, and both looking to lead their division as much as possible. Here we go. Let's go with Peyton Manning at Arizona and Mark Sanchez against Tennessee. Tim, who do you like better there?
I think this is a pretty obvious one. I think you got to go with Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of who he's playing, and I think there's maybe one or two quarterbacks within that he would be playing against that you'd have to take the other one. Yeah. I think you always take Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
He looked great last week for the 15 minutes he had the ball.
Yep. It is prime time. Steven had mentioned last week, prime time Peyton Manning, you got to like the matchup there. So I don't really trust Mark Sanchez. I'm going to try to be as unbiased here, Nappy, so just relax. But I still think Peyton Manning's the better option here. Let's go to the running backs, Frank Gore, Reggie Bush. Frank Gore had a great week last week. Do you think he's able to repeat against the Purple Eaters?
Maybe not to the same extent. I could definitely see him getting in the 20 points. I think Singletary's bent on running the football, and I think the Vikings, while they're good against the run, they gave up quite a few yards to the Lions. So I'm going to think Frank Gore's going to get it done this week.
All right, he filled in Reggie Bush there. He evidently is not going to try to risk it with Marion Barber, although Marion Barber thinks he might be able to play. Do you hold out and see if Marion Barber plays if you're Nappy Foe, or do you just play Reggie Bush and just try to get as many points as you can out of him?
I think I'm going to go with Reggie Bush. Dynamic offense that he has. Did pretty good last week. He's catching the football. And with the backfield situation in New Orleans, I think he could have a pretty good week this week. I'm going to go with Reggie Bush. He's got a dynamic offense. He's catching the football a little more with Pierre Thomas and Mike Bell out. I think Reggie Bush is going to have a pretty good week this week.
All right, well, let's go to the other side of things. Fred Jackson, scheduled to have a pretty good week. This is his last opportunity to make a good impression to the Buffalo fans, Buffalo team, and just basically say, I want to keep this job even though Marshawn Lynch is coming back. ESPN has him scheduled for 33 points. Are you going higher or lower on that?
A little lower. I think he's going to do good this week. I think with his ability to catch the football and receive, I think he's going to have a pretty good week this week. I think 30 points isn't out of the realm of possibility.
All right, let's play who you got. Beener has Ahmad Bradshaw in right now, but he has Leon Washington, Jonathan Stewart, Pierre Thomas that could all play in that spot. And even Tashard Choice recently picked up off the waiver wire. Who are you picking?
I think depending on how it plays out, I think Pierre Thomas could be a decent play this week for a second running back. Okay. I will say this for the Bean in his franchise. He has the most points for the league total, and he doesn't have a good second running back.
No, so, terrible.
I would say for the Bean, it doesn't matter who he plays. He's scoring points, hand over fist. He could play, anybody in that spot. He could leave it blank, and I think it's not going to make too much of a difference.
All right, let's go to the wide receivers on Nappy's side. We've got Reggie Wayne. The Bean has Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne. If he starts throwing, obviously Reggie Wayne gets more points out of that. Generally, the wide receiver does. But maybe they'll cancel each other out. I do like Percy Harvin quite a bit. He seems to have become Brett Favre's favorite target.
Especially down in the red zone. If they're going to throw the football and not dump it off to all day there, I think Percy Harvin's the guy they're looking for.
Santana Moss, I think, is a decent play against Detroit. Detroit seems to be giving up some plays. Like I said, again, they're not the Detroit of old, but they're still the Detroit rules in effect. You still have to play Santana Moss. Let's go to the other side of things. Andre Johnson, Randy Moss, Randy Moss had a good first week. Andre Johnson had an unbelievable second week. If they put it together, are you nervous if you're Nappy Foe?
Absolutely nervous. I don't think if they both put it together at the same time, I think it's pretty much over regardless who does what. I think that's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Now Steve Smith picked up off the waiver wire last week and showed what he could do on Sunday Night Football and going against a secondary Tampa Bay defense that is terrible. I think Steve Smith will be able to get double digits again.
Yeah, fairly easily.
All right, tight ends. I'm going to go with Nappy-Headed's foes, Tony Gonzalez. I love Tony Gonzalez. What a great player. Great team player. Seems to do whatever he can. I mean, all those bad years in Kansas City seem like they're starting to pay off going to a winner in Atlanta.
Yeah,
so I like Tony Gonzalez over Todd Heap. Todd Heap just recently acquired nonetheless, just trying to get some extra help there,
Uh-huh.
and Kevin Boss just wasn't going to cut it. Let's go defenses. Giants at Tampa Bay, Cowboys at Carolina. Who would you rather have?
You know, one has to wonder with Nappy. What's he doing with the Cowboys still? They're -1 week 1,
Mm-hmm.
-7 week 2.
Mm-hmm.
They're going against a Carolina team. Terrible week 1.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
They bounced back pretty good week 2. Jake Delhomme seems to have elevated his play some. You know, I think I don't know what he's doing. I'm hoping he hits the free agent market for a new defense this week. Because you know, with the combination of Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith, it could get ugly for the Cowboys.
Yeah, when you think about the Cowboys and who they have, they do have a pretty good up front to stop the running backs. I don't know if Delhomme will throw. Maybe they're going to tempt him. I don't think the Giants have really a tremendous play here because Tampa Bay will have to throw. I think Tampa Bay will score a lot of points. If Giants can get turnovers, it might be worth it for them. In the end, what do you think this game comes down to?
In the end, I think it comes down to the 3 receivers for both teams. And I don't think there's really much of a question about it. Bean's 3 receivers are going off this week. Coupled with Fred Jackson and Peyton Manning, I think Bean's got a winner here.
All right. I, too, will take the Bean. I'll take the Bean by 15. And Nappy Head at Foe will be 2-1. The Bean will be 3-0, leading the lowly Shula division. And we'll be right back with our next matchup, the snoozer of the week, Titletown and Soldier.
See you guys.